What's up YouTube? Welcome back to Jackal Gold Games. So in this video, I'm going to be doing first impressions for Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Trying a different format with first impressions, having the game in the background somewhat. Currently in my PS5. Got the physical version. The disc is currently in the system. So let me try to put it over here. Hopefully you can see it, if not. So here's my first impressions of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So I recently got a PS5 yesterday, and I got a bunch of games, and this is one of the games I got. Now, I was excited for this game because Dead Rising is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Dead Rising 1 is one of my favorite video games of all time. And this is their updated remastered take on Dead Rising 1, so I really wanted to play it. It was definitely the first game I was going to play on PS5. Now, what I think of this game so far after playing it, I think this is really good so far. I think Capcom's done a really good job being faithful to Dead Rising 1. This is basically Dead Rising 1 as you know and love. The same game, but a different engine, updated graphics, some quality of life improvements, but it's not a remake. It is very similar to the original, so it's pretty cool. They kept the same soundtrack, so a lot of the same songs are in there, especially like the Convicts theme. I'm glad the soundtrack was left untouched. That's really cool. There's some good quality of life improvements. They did make the survivors easy to rescue, which I'm split on because I like the challenge in the original, but I do get why they changed it for this different version. And I'm not super mad about it because it's a different version. If I want the survivor AI to be challenging, I could just play the original, you know. I don't mind the voice actors so far. I think the cast has been fine in this game. I think the voice actors have done a good job so far, and they've done really well. Most of the lines are the same, the dialogue. One of the nice big changes in this game is when survivors are talking or certain characters are talking, instead of having to read a text box like the original, they have voice acting for it, and that's really nice. Any kind of clothes you put on at Willamette Mall, you could put on in the locker in the safe room, so all the outfits are in there. I love that. That's nice, especially as someone like me that likes customization. So visually, I think the game looks really good. It looks amazing, especially on the PS5 Pro. It looks awesome with the ray tracing on. Solid frame rate at 60 FPS. There's no frame rate drops for me, especially on the PS5 Pro. Runs great, it looks great, a lot of color to it. They nailed it on the visuals. And even though it's the RE engine, I'm glad it doesn't have the same style as like Resident Evil remakes. I'm glad they kind of made a distinction between the two. Like when I look at this game, I don't think of Resident Evil remake. I feel like there's enough of a difference. So the engine's been pretty solid. Graphics solid, colored, all that solid. Got the Willamette Mall, all the areas are the same. They look really nice as well. And I'm glad they kept a lot of the stuff so far that's from the original. They even kept a cutscene where the mom and the daughter, you know, are going to Willamette and they get surrounded by zombies. I'm glad they kept that. The gore looks really good. There's a difficulty option between normal and easy. The gameplay is really good in this game. Just like the original, you have a whole bunch of weapons you can use. You have guns you can use. You fight and kill zombies. You rescue survivors for experience. There's main missions and side missions to do. There's a timer in the game. I'm glad they kept that because that's an essential part of Dead Rising. I do wonder if the timer is a lot slower and easy. I noticed there's an option to make the timer go by quicker in the bathroom area when you're saving, so that's interesting. And you know, there's like these, like all the stuff you unlock in the game. In this main menu, you have like stuff you can look at, like unlocks you're going for, or you're trying to get all the PP stickers. So that stuff is pretty cool, honestly. So the gameplay is great, very fun to play, good gore. It's still somewhat challenging with the zombies grabbing you and stuff, and I did have trouble with some psychopaths still. So I do feel like the challenge is still in there, just not for the survivors. It's pretty easy to rescue, but it's cool having them voiced. Sometimes they have dialogue about certain things, like some of them will point out a PP sticker, which is interesting. And I like how everything's stored in the menu in terms of like unlocks and all that stuff and outfits in the safe room. A lot of nice quality of life improvements. There's autosave, which is cool. A lot of, you know, good stuff they did with the game. I can't really think of any negatives so far I could think of. Nothing I can really think of so far that I would critique or have an issue with. They did censor the sexuality in this game a little bit. I mean, they got rid of the erotica photo genre and stuff like that, which I personally don't mind because I don't really think that stuff needs to be in games, especially since that's not something I want to see because it's triggering for my addiction. So I don't mind that they kind of tone that stuff down because really that's not what's important. You know, it's the game itself. So far, I'm on day 1. I made it to, I just beat Adam, and now I'm about to go fight Cletus and save the guy, David, I think, or something. Now, one thing I will say is, if you've already played the original Dead Rising 1, this game's going to be kind of a walk in the park. That's one of the things I'll say is, while it's cool so far, because it's the same as the original, they've changed nothing, I'm not going to have a hard time playing this game because I played the original Dead Rising 1 so much, I know it like the back of my hand. I know where this is and that is, and a lot of it's the same, so I'm going to be able to kick this game's ass already because I know the original so well. I'm sure there'll be some challenging stuff, but just know if you did play the original, it's pretty much the same in here, so you could kind of look at it as a good or bad thing. I think it's good, but also it's not as challenging because of that, you know, whereas if it was a remake or had a lot of things changed, it'd be new territory, basically. And I'm trying to think about some other things I can say about the game. You know, you got, like I said, good variety of weapons, the survivor models, the character models like Frank West and them. All the character models, I think, in the game look pretty well. They look similar to the original. They made Frank West way more muscular in this game. Maybe it's just the graphics, but he looks way bigger than he did in the original. So that's been good. Let's see what else I could talk about in this game. I noticed when you go buy books, it actually shows you what they say without having to pick them up, which is nice. There's a bar on the items so you know when it's going to break, which that's pretty cool as well. I think that's a nice addition to the game. I did drive the convict's military vehicle to kill some zombies. The driving in the game don't feel too bad. It does feel better than the original. And, you know, it's been fun to get some trophies, unlock some rewards. And yeah, it's been really fun to play this so far. I would say Dead Rising is definitely back to where it needs to be. You know, Dead Rising wasn't in a good place for a while with 3 and 4 and the canceled 5. It was not in a good place. And after all this time, I think Capcom did it justice and they revived Dead Rising, and I think they're taking it in the right direction, I would say, because this is more of like what we want. It's got the timer, and it's more of what people actually want from Dead Rising. And this Frank West is a better Frank West than the 1 and 4. I will be very curious to see them do this with Dead Rising 2, because I also love Dead Rising 2 as well, and I think they can improve a lot in that game, more so than this one. So yeah, as for my first impressions of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, I've been really enjoying it, and it's been fun to play. I look forward to playing more of it. PS4 controller feels nice with it, or PS5, what the hell, PS4. But yeah, those are my first impressions and what I think of it. If you're a Dead Rising fan, I definitely recommend this one. If you like zombie games, I definitely recommend this one. It's nice to play an updated take on Dead Rising 1, and it's nice to have Dead Rising back because it was kind of up in the air what happened to it for a while. So yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this game, but peace out.